Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you so much for joining us today. We wanted to seek the blessings of Radha Damodara, Radha Shyam Sundar, Radha Madhav, Krishna Balaram, Bal Gopal, Gonika, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and the assembled devotees to continue with the Damodara Leela. Yeah, as I was saying, it's Govardhan Puja yesterday, so maybe Saturday and Sunday we will do Govardhan Parikram on Zoom, of course. And today I wanted to just give a very brief summary of the Damodara Leela pastime. This is such an important pastime that many books have been written by great Vaishnavas on this one pastime. And in the Srimad Bhagavad Puran, 2 whole chapters are dedicated to this one pastime. So it's such an important Leela. In a whole month, we simply celebrate this Damodara Leela. Damodar is another name for Krishna. One day, on the day of Diwali, in fact, Mother Yashoda was with Krishna alone in the home. Everybody else had gone somewhere. He was sleeping. Mother Yashoda was churning butter after getting ready. So I'm just going to quickly go through the summary, through the pictures, basically. Krishna was sleeping, very beautiful, cute Krishna sleeping away. And she was watching over him. She was also watching over the milk, which she had put on the stove. And she was churning the yogurt to make it into butter. Very special day for her because it was not just Diwali, but she was alone for Krishna for a change. Usually there's always somebody around. But this time she was able to spend time with Krishna alone. And she was relishing it. And she was singing bhajans about Krishna. She was really deeply absorbed in these bhajans, so much so she didn't even know what she was doing. And Krishna then woke up and he asked to be fed milk from her breast. And she did. She gave him milk. And before giving him milk, she just admiring her magnificent son. He looked so different. Every time she saw him, he looked so different. He looks even more amazing. And this is the nature of God. He's always increasing his qualities. And then she fed him. She started feeding him her breast milk. But then she noticed the milk on the stove was overflowing. So she put down Krishna in order to go and attend to the milk that was going to overflow. Some of it had overflown. And Krishna became very upset. He was thinking, I've been fasting all night and my mother has just denied me any milk. She's gone somewhere. So he became so angry, he broke the churning pot. But all the milk from all the yogurt or makhan that came from that went on the floor. It was contaminated. So he thought, okay, this is not fair. I've been denied food. I'm going to break into the storeroom. He'd never done this before in his own home. He did it in the neighbor's home, no problem. He got away with it. But now, for the first time, he was venturing into unknown territory. He broke into the storeroom, into his own mother's storeroom, and he stole a pot of butter. And this Chaurastakam, which we've been singing, or Karuna has been singing, is one of the most glorious bhajans, which maybe we'll do again before the end of the Kartik Mas. He was eating the butter, he's enjoying, but he was also scared of his mother. She might just come any moment and catch him at it. So what he thought, he's going to run for it. He ran into the courtyard. Mother, in the meantime, came back from attending to the milk on the stove, and she saw, what a mess. Who's made the mess? All this time, she's never really thought that Krishna was Bhakan Chor, right? Neighbors used to complain, but she always thought, no, it must be somebody else. It can't be my son. Now she's found out, actually, the only person in the house is Krishna, who's made this mess. And where is he? She's trying to find him. So she's seeing footprints of Makhan everywhere. And then she realized he's running to the courtyard. She's looking for him there. And she sees him. And she sees him. She sees him feeding her butter to the monkeys. That gets her even more wound up. And she runs after him with a stick. They can see there's a stick here. And there's Krishna sitting on the mortar and feeding the monkeys. And for the first time, Krishna is seeing a stick in the mother's hand to punish him, and he's shocked. He's run for it. At the same time, Mother Yashoda is running after him. Now, who can catch God? No one can catch God. Yogis run after him with the speed of mind through meditation, but they still can't catch him. And there's this elderly gopi who's running after Krishna. And there he is, he's terrified. And she's really going for it. And she finally catches him. He allows her himself to be caught, of course. Who can catch the Lord unless he allows it? But her love is so strong that it even controls the Supreme Lord. He catches him. And then there's a wonderful dialogue that takes place between them, which is so hilarious. And it's just, we'll see some of the dialogue now. So, and this is all from the Srimad Bhagavad Puran, and also some books written by the six Goswamis. And we're going to read some of the verses now. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 9th chapter, 12th verse. Is that right? Let's just have a quick look at this. Yes, that's right.
Yatvayastim satam pitam vignaya paka vatsala yashakila tampadam damnatad viryakovida. Translation: Mother Yashoda, always overwhelmed by intense love for Krishna, not knowing who Krishna was or how powerful he was. Because of material affection for Krishna, she never even cared to know who he was. Therefore, when she saw that her son had become excessively afraid, she threw the stick away and desired to bind him so that he would not commit any further naughty activities.
So this is Sukadeva Goswami explaining this pastime to Parikshit Maharaj. And we can see Mother Yashoda, she's running after Krishna, but it's not out of anger. It's out of intense love. She didn't even know Krishna. She knew he was something special. She didn't even care if he was God or not. He's my son. He's made a mistake, and I have to correct him. And she saw this. Krishna was a little bit scared of the stick, so she put it away. But she asked him some questions. She wanted answers.
How was the churn broken?
Through an act of God, Mother. It was your karma. This is a 2-year-old boy, right? Yashodamai was amazed. Where did he get such ideas from?
Oh, yes, of course. And who gave butter to the monkeys? Was that God too?
Ultimately, the same Lord who created them also directed me to feed them.
Could you not wait to enjoy the butter until after it was offered to God? Or do you think you are God? Or is the butter more tasty when it is stolen and unoffered?
What could he say? He is God. Staring at the ground, Krishna drew lines in the sand with his toes. Seeing his confusion, Yashodamai's heart melted.
Be good now and tell me the truth. No more stories.
Krishna looked up and marveled at the beauty of Yashodamai. And Yashodamai similarly was marveling at his beauty and his cheeky nature. Krishna said, Mother, you ran. Right, he's trying to explain himself now, right? You ran to save the boiling milk. And actually, your anklet struck the churn and pierced it. So I didn't break it. You broke it. Your anklet broke it. Why are you blaming me? Thereafter, the Lord, so Krishna continued, thereafter, the Lord inspired some monkeys to raid your storeroom and steal its contents. Why fault me? This is Krishna at his very best. Yashoda Mai was mesmerized by Krishna's eloquence, even though every word was a lie. But she wanted to hear more. So Krishna continued, then, as I was trying to save the yogurt from the monkeys, you attacked me with a stick, treating me as if I was a common thief. Without pity, you chased me like a shadow, even though I was frightened to death. So then the mother,
Though you're born in an aristocratic family, by befriending monkeys, you've taken on their qualities.
there it was again, Krishna compared to monkeys. So Krishna says, mother, if you think I'm a monkey, then maybe I should go to the forest and live with my monkey friends. Yashodamaya was shocked. Things were going too far. Who knows, this boy might just do what he's saying.
I will tie you down right here, right now, so that I can return to the house and clean up the mess you made.
Krishna couldn't believe what he heard. Oh, Rohini Devi, where have you gone with my brother? Oh, Balaram, come quickly. Mother wants to tie me up. Help, help. This is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? No one can tie him down. Not a chance. Except those who love him so much that he feels so indebted to them because of that love that he becomes controlled by them. So those personalities are very, very, very rare. Yashoda Mai is one of them. Although Rohini and Balaram were too far away to hear Krishna's call, it did not fall on deaf ears. The elderly gopis came running, but jokingly goaded Yashoda Mai to punish the boy. How many times we have complained about the havoc your son creates in our homes, and you would constantly ignore us. Now he has plundered your own home. You finally see the light of day. Let us help you punish him. Of course, they are simply joking. They didn't think actually Yashodamai would punish him, but they just wanted to see the reactions of Krishna. Mother agreed. He must be tied down. The ladies, as well as the demigods, were amazed at the audacity of Yashoda Mai. Okay, so now we're looking at text number 13 and 14 in chapter 9 of the 10th canto.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no beginning and no end, no exterior and no interior, no front and no rear. In other words, he is all-pervading. Because he is not under the influence of the element of time, for him there is no difference between past, present, and future. He exists in his own transcendental form at all times. Being absolute beyond relativity, he is free from distinctions between cause and effect, although he is the cause and effect of everything. That unmanifested person, who is beyond the perception of the senses, has now appeared as a human child, and Mother Yashoda, considering him her own ordinary child, bound him to a wooden mortar with a rope.
We shouldn't be in any illusion that Krishna is an ordinary child. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not just the Supreme Person. He is Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. He is the original Supreme Lord, from whom all the avatars descend. Ramachandra Bhagwan is an avatar of Krishna. Lakshman is an avatar of Balaram. The first expansion of Krishna is actually Balaram. So we should be very clear that this personality is Sri Krishna, is the original Supreme Personality from whom all come, and in whom all the different leelas and rasas are present. So he's performing these very sweet pastimes to attract us to him, because he's missing us. He wants us back with him. So he performs these leelas and he shares them with us through his devotees, so that we can again unite with him. You can come close to him again. How extraordinary this gopi is, Yashodamai. Although she's seen her son's supernatural powers, because he killed Putana, he killed Trivnivarta, he killed Sakatasura, the cart demon. She still has plans to tie him up. They were amazed. How is this possible? Yashodamai required two things to tie up Krishna: an anchor and rope. Near the entrance to the courtyard lay the mortar which Krishna used to sit on and feed the monkeys. He was incredulous. He couldn't believe. What is she planning to do? She's got to tie me up. Yashodamai made her intentions very clear. Taking him the few steps to the mortar, she was going to bind Krishna to the mortar.
Since you were so fond of mortars, I will marry you to this one.
Now for the rope. With the graceful movement of her left hand, she took a golden cord that bound her braid at its root. Yashodamai thought about which part of him to bind. His hands and feet are too small. He would be able to wiggle free, best at the waist, around the belly, as his chubby behind and scheming head would not allow the rope to slip free. Yashodamai giggled. Krishna was not amused. So she was thinking, he's got a big head and a big bum. So he's going to bind his belly. That way the rope won't be able to slip free. Now that Yashodamai found funny, but Krishna, he thought, both time and death for me. Does she not know? She doesn't. Hang on a minute. Sorry. He is both time and he is also death, right? He's also, he comes in the form of time as death. She doesn't know that. Krishna has no beginning and he has no end. Yet her motherly affection did not allow Yashodamai to think of Krishna as infinite. So this is very important, very, very important. Krishna, there is no time that binds Krishna. There's no death. He's eternal. He's without beginning. He's without end. We often get asked this question, how did God come into being? Well, he's always been into being. He's never been a time when God was not there. He's infinite. But look at the love that Yashodamai has of Krishna. Even though he did amazing things, still, she would think of Krishna simply as her boy. It is not illusion of this world. This is illusion that Krishna has put her under, his own illusion called Yogamaya. And because of that Yogamaya, Yashodamai is able to perform amazing pastimes with Krishna, which he's enjoying. Now he's enjoying these pastimes, by the way. These pastimes are, he's relishing them, the love of the mother. The first cord was obviously too short for his waist. So she took another from her hair, but realized that she needed something for the mortar as well. Many Bijwasis were watching this amazing event unfold. Yashodamai spotted two of her maidservants, Kurangavati and Lavangavati. She ordered them to bring some soft, smooth rope from the house in a hurry. They ran into the house and quickly brought two churning ropes for Mother Yashoda. The gopis assisted Mother Yashoda and tied the 4 ropes together. And Mother attempted, with the help of Lavanga, tried to put the rope around his waist and the mortar. Krishna still couldn't believe what his mother was planning to do. Who does she think I am? The watching demigods, Brajbasis, sages, birds, monkeys, gods, gopis, all debated amongst themselves about how Yashodamai will achieve this monumental task. Krishna tried to reason with his mother. Do you think it's right to punish me like this? Father would be much more lenient and reason with me. Mother was determined.
You're not just mischievous, but you are also offensive.
Okay. So text number 15.
Tadama padyai manasya svarbhaksya kitagasaha vyangullo nam abhuddena sandade anyak chagopika. Translation: Mother Yashoda was trying to bind the offending child. She saw that the binding rope was short by a distance the width of 2 fingers. Thus she broke another rope to join it to it.
So every time the rope was always too, she could get her arms around him to hold him, but she could not get the rope to bind him. She couldn't tie the 2 ends together. Always 2 fingers short, no matter how much rope they used. Now, when Yashodamai said you're an offender, Krishna was offended by this comment. But anyway, he didn't have time to argue or be bound up. He had to play with his friends. He had houses to ransack. He had ladies to charm. How can he be restrained by some rope? When Yashodamai tried to knot the ends around Krishna's belly, it was short by 2 fingers. She tried in different ways and different combinations, but every time the rope was always 2 fingers short. She ordered more rope. All the Brijbasis participated and cheerfully brought more rope, knowing that some extraordinary activity was happening. They would tie the ends, and then Yashodamai would again try to put the rope around Krishna's belly, but it was always 2 fingers short. Everyone marveled at the phenomenon. The demigod said the Lord is medium-sized, infinite, infinitesimal, simultaneously, and applauded his inconceivable potencies. The Brijbasis were enjoying the occasion, occasionally teasing Yashodamai, sometimes encouraging, sometimes calming, sometimes laughing. So text number 16.
Yadasittadapi nyunam tenayad api sandade tadapi dvengulam nyunam yadyat adarta bandhanam. Translation: This new rope also was short by a measurement of 2 fingers. When another rope was joined to it, it was still 2 fingers too short. As many ropes as she joined, all of them failed. Their shortness could not be overcome.
17.
Evan sageha damani yashoda sandati api gopinam sushma yantinam smayanti vishmita bhava. Translation: Thus Mother Yashoda joined whatever ropes were available in the household, but still she failed in her attempt to bind Krishna. Mother Yashoda's friends, the elderly gopis in the neighborhood, were smiling and enjoying the fun. Similarly, Mother Yashoda, although laboring in that way, was also smiling. All of them were struck with wonder.
So this pastime was actually being enjoyed by everybody. Mother Yashoda, the Brijbasis, Krishna. It's one of the most extraordinary pastimes. Each piece of rope added was intact in its original length, but the aggregate shrank so that it was 2 fingers short. All the rope in the village, palace, cowshed was used, but it was not to be. And Nand Maharaj had 9 lakh cows. So there was a lot of rope in just the cowshed. None of it was enough to bind the Lord. Nonetheless, although tired, Yashodamai did not give up, and her determination was an expression of her love. The same can be said of her anger and of her sense of obligation to discipline Krishna. Indeed, her entire being was a manifestation of maternal love, and so Krishna accepted her chastisement as such. He was not upset. He was enjoying this maternal love that Yashodamai was showering him with. But Krishna thought, there is no match. There is no match for the loving devotion of my mother. I exist by the grace of her, by the grace of the dust of her lotus feet. But that love alone is not sufficient to restrain me. 2 more things are required. That is the significance of the 2 fingers gap. So what is this 2 finger gap? My devotee must exert themselves fully in service. So it's bhakta parishram. And I must take compassion on them. Mat kripa apta. So these two fingers indicate we have to make an effort to serve God, and His mercy must also be present. That is required. I do not become theirs. Let's just carry on for a minute. So unless those two things are present, i.e. our effort and Krishna's mercy, we will always be short. We'll always be short. So text number 18.
Swamatu swina gatraya vishrasta kabara srajaha trishra parishramam Krishna kripaya sid swabandhane. Translation: because of Mother Yashoda's hard labor, the whole body became covered in perspiration, and the flowers and comb were falling from her hair. When child Krishna saw his mother thus fatigued, he became merciful to her and agreed to be bound.
While embracing Krishna, Yashodamai called for more rope. The elderly gopis spoke amongst themselves. Okay.
How unusual Yashodamai can tie her arms around her son, but not ropes. How is this possible?
There you go, look. She's got her arm around him, but she can't tie the ropes. Go on.
No matter how she tries, Yashodamai is unable to realize her plan. Such an over endeavor. Why does she not give up? You are a queen and advisor to the king in matters of state, but yet you cannot even tie your own baby. There are supernatural forces at work here, and it would appear that Krishna is none other than the Supreme Lord himself.
Yashodamai acknowledged their wisdom with a nod over her head. For a brief moment, she understood Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But only for a moment. To her, he may be Supreme Lord, but he was also her son. And that took priority. If he's God, so be it. But actually, he's my son. She had undertaken to tie him just after sunrise in the morning. And although the sun had begun its descent, her efforts remained fruitless. So this has been going on for hours now. Hours. 12 hours practically. She'd been trying to tie the knot for hours. Overwhelmed with fatigue and frustration, she sat down to review her plan. How do I tie this boy up? At that moment, Krishna reasoned, she is so determined to discipline me. Such devotional resolve must be honored and rewarded. Perhaps I should give up my stubbornness and let her have her way. My divinity is of no significance to her. How marvelous that her love for me is not tainted by any awe and reverence, but simply a desire to please me, to protect me, to correct me. The rising compassion in Krishna's heart implored him, give yourself to her, do as she wills. Not because being bound is part of an eternal pastime, but because she wants it. Yashodamai wiped her brow, reflecting on what had been happening and what had been said. And she was giving up the idea of binding Krishna. At the very same time, Krishna decided, I submit. Yashodamai had been tying rope for hours. Although she decided to stop, by the agency of Yoga Maya, her hands continued the momentum, so she tied one more knot. And that was the knot that bound Krishna. So we can stop there. Krishna is bound. We'll continue probably on Monday or Tuesday with the rest of the pastime. Any questions, any comments? Prabhaven, anything you'd like to?
Yeah, I will like to ask today. And it was really nice. I really enjoyed it, the whole of it. Just 1 second. I'm sorry, my husband is sitting in front of. He's asking something. But don't worry, I'm just telling. I'm now one sate what karu pachi kais tamne, okay. You said about she was trying to tie him up, but every time it was only two
2 fingers.
2 fingers short.
Yes.
So why it was going short all the time? I mean,
Ah.
she got so many ropes from everywhere.
Yeah.
Every time it went 2 fingers short. So what was the reason? Was it God Krishna was making it short?
Yeah, that's right. He was showing his divinity, his greatness. She could put her arms around him, no problem, but she could not tie him. He was saying, nobody can tie me, nobody. Even my dear mother, you have the greatest love. Even you can't tie me, except those 2 fingers. They represent 2 things. One, our effort. We should do something, and Bhagwan ni daya. There has to be the mercy of the Lord. So those 2 things have to be present in order for us to conquer the Lord, in order for us to become part of the Lord's entourage. 2 things. Effort
and mercy.
and daya. That's it.
Daya,
That's it.
Okay.
Right.
Prabhu,
And
is
then
it sorry.
Syam Malini, finish it. Or shall I finish it first?
Finish it, Mataji.
Yeah. Sorry, Mataji. I just wanted to, this is my opinion, like the way you explain us the 2 fingers is our effort, and the second one is the mercy, which we should have it from inside us. And that's the reason that
mercy is from him.
mercy is from him. And the effort is from us.
Exactly.
All right. In the end, she done it.
She did it.
All right.
He did it.
Thank you.
Only because he showed her, he saw her effort, and he saw her love, and he said, okay,
all right,
because your love is so great, I am happy to become under your control.
All right. Yes, very nice. Really enjoyed today's pastime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yes,
Mataji.
Prabhu, I was going to ask you, is it possible if we're making effort and the mercy is not there? What I understand is that we have to make effort all the time, but I'm thinking, is the mercy always there from the Lord?
It's always his prerogative. We cannot demand. Like Radharani says, Aslisya Padam, I've forgotten the verse now. She says to the Shishtastakam, the last verse of the Shishtastakam, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wrote, is the mood of Radharani. Whether you embrace me with your hug or you punish me with your danda, I'm yours, no matter what. So he's under no obligation. His mercy is causeless. You cannot put a formula on God's mercy. So it's not necessarily, if we put our effort in, that the mercy will flow. It's not necessarily, he's not bound like that. His binding is through love. So if we put the effort in, and that is got intense love for the Lord, then the mercy will flow, right? It will flow because the love is what conquers the Lord. But effort on its own may not invoke the mercy of the Lord because he's under no obligation. The effort from our side has to have this extra ingredient of love as well. Does that make sense?
Right. Yes, makes sense. Like, yes, thank you. It's like Krishna praying, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. There's no formula that can hold Krishna bound to any condition of life, right? There's no formula. It's a question of heart to heart with Krishna. It's heart to heart. It's always heart to heart. But if we reciprocate with him, he will reciprocate with us. That's what he promises in the Bhagavad Gita. So if we reciprocate with service, there's definitely going to be benefit, right? But if we reciprocate with service and love, then the reciprocation is just unlimited. So whatever we try to do, we try to do it. We add that ingredient of love. Not that I have to do this service because my spiritual master has told me, or the temple authorities have told me, but if we can add this ingredient, I'm doing this service because I love him, and whatever he wants, I'm happy to do. He wants me to suffer, that's fine, because that's his desire. If he wants me to enjoy, that's fine as well. This was the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Very hard, of course, to obtain that mood, because that's the ultimate mood. But we try to endeavor. We try to be happy in every circumstance. Whatever circumstance we're in, we don't lament. We try not to lament, and we just take it as the mercy of the Lord. And we just do our best, our service with the best of our ability, and put as much love as we can in that service. Is that okay, Shyamalini?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, it's okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for asking.
That's all right.
Shri Damodara ki jai, Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai, Thai Gaura Premanande.